Now let's see the one-sided limits of a function. So far we've discussed two-sided limits, or the absolute limits, right? And basically what that means is we've discussed graphs like this, right? Say this is f of x, right? And say this here is the point C, right? And this is the limit which approaches the limit as x approaches C, right? And let's say this is L. So over here, when we say that the limit as x approaches C of f of x, which is this graph over here, is equal to L, which is true because if we approach C from both the left hand side and the right hand side, basically it approaches C from the left, it approaches L from the left hand side, and it approaches the same L from the right hand side. So we've discussed this so far, but we need to discuss one-sided limits because this is not true for every single function. And here is an example, the left-handed limit. So it says this function over here is equal to L as x approaches C from the left side, right? So basically, here's an example of how you see a left-handed limit, right? So if you have a graph that's, say, something like this, right? And at x at 0, it is basically equal to, say, L, right? Because that's here. And C over here is equal to 0. So as x approaches 0, from the left-hand side, as it approaches 0, it approaches L, right? Because this is the left-hand side. But on the right-hand side, there is no function at all. It's empty. So L does not exist from the right-hand side. If you approach it from the right-hand side, it will not approach L because there is nothing on the right-hand side of the function, right? On the right-hand side of 0, there is no function. So this is an example of a left-hand limit. Now let's see a right-hand limit. So if you have a graph, and this is, it says f of x is equal to m as x approaches C, and f of x is equal to m as x approaches C from the right side. So here's an example. If you have this function over here, right, and this is C, right? Now, this is the m value of f of x, right? And this is the, say, n value. Now, at C, when you say that the limit of f of x as x approaches C is equal to m for this particular function, it's only true when you approach C from the right-hand side, because if you approach from the right-hand side, it approaches m. But if you approach C from the left-hand side, right, it approaches n, because you cannot approach this particular, you cannot approach m from the left-hand side because, well, the function does not exist over here, right? And you cannot approach n from the right-hand side because it does not exist over here, right? So this is how left-hand and right-handed limits work.